Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about some of my favourite mods for Farming Simulator 19. Some of the mods that have always been part of pretty much every single save, every single game I've played in Farming Simulator 19 that are in my, literally are in my must-have folder. They're not, the mods that I don't keep in my mods folder, but keep in my PDLC folder, so they are loaded anytime I start the game, no matter what mod folder I have selected from my list of mod folders. These are the mods that always get selected. Now, I've seen lots of videos from YouTubers over the last couple of weeks as they kind of, running out of content for FS19 whilst we're waiting for FS22 to release. And we're kind of in that mode where it's like, well, what can we pull out videos on that, we're still going to be, interacting with the farm sim audience, but, we are really desperate for that new game and new content to come out. And I've seen a lot of people doing their, top 10 mods, favourite mods, most used mods, and I figured, hey, might as well throw my hat into the mix and do a similar thing. So one of the first mods that I tend to always have in my mod list is the good old animal pen extension. To have your water added by the plumber, to have the water pens added to the animals. Even the chickens get their water pens. So local plumber will arrive at 6 AM. Right, we'll go and sleep then, and we'll convince the plumber to come and fix the pipes. So we'll go in here. I'll click the old button. Sleep anytime. Another really useful mod. Again, is in my must-have mod folder. Must-have. Allows you to sleep at any time in the game, any hour, and it gives you an exact hour to sleep to. You don't have to guess, well, if I sleep for 10 hours, what time is that when I wake up? No. It sets the time that you want to actually sleep to and fast forward to. So again, some of these mods, they're not visible mods. A lot of people get really wrapped up in things like, oh, the X9 harvester, what a fantastic mod, and equipment mods. Some of the best mods for Farming Simulator are the ones you don't necessarily see. Things like, as I say, sleep anytime. Installation will be complete in 10 hours. Okay. So as you can see, we'll end up with pipes being put on, which allows you obviously to come and give, your animals water. And rather than having to use a tanker to come and fill up your, your chicken pens and stuff with water, or your sheep pens or your cow pens, you get that nice little, just a nice little tap that you come and interact with. Fills up with water. Very useful mod. And again, some of the must-have mods for me: alfalfas, egg pallet replacer. So in obviously the vanilla base game of Farm Sim, eggs spawn in the little cardboard boxes, and you usually get 16 cardboard boxes spawning in the the chicken pen area. Each little cardboard box holds about, 360 litres of eggs. Alfalfa changed it. Simple little script mod. Instead of little boxes spawning, you get pallets that spawn, and each pallet holds 3,600 litres of eggs. So instantly, you're going to hold a lot more in the vanilla chicken pen, Giant's own chicken pen. The spawn area will support 4 pallets. So that's nearly 15,000 litres of eggs that will spawn in here before you start getting that message that the chickens have run out of space. Same goes for the sheep as well. I know in the vanilla base game, the sheep spawn wool pallets. Again, Alfalfa did an amazing little script in the game, for the game, very lightweight, that changes it so that the pallets have more capacity. So again, you can leave longer, you get a longer interval before you start getting that no more room for wool at sheep message. Each pallet contains more wool, so when you are transporting your wool pallets, you're transporting more volume, more literage, which means you get paid a lot more for transporting your wool pallets. So again, those things are some of my favourite mods, must-have mods for Farm Sim 19, as is the little script that Giants, the 2 scripts that Giants released actually as mods after the game. The first one being the Increase Animal Pen Limit mod, which allows you to have more than 10 animal pens on a map, which was absolutely very useful when playing multiplayer with multiple farms, and every separate farm wanted to have its own animals, because you would quickly run out of animal pen limits, especially if you also happened to be playing on some maps which had productions and factories that used the animal system. You know, things like La Coronella, which we played in multiplayer, for example, which used the animal system, the animal pens, to have production factories, and the animal system. And you know, you had like sunflower oil, you had potato chips, you had sugar, you know, all that stuff, all that extra stuff that you had in the factories mods, using the animal system to be able to place all the factories and to place all the animal pens on the map. You needed that raise animal pen mod. Again, very simple script, just dropped it in the mod folder, never ever took it out. I've always used it on every single map. Same as the mod that lets you increase the number of animals that you can put in a pen. You know, typically in the game, you know, the animal pens, the vanilla pens were fixed, and like the large pens, like the large cow pasture, was fixed at 200 cows. That was your limit. With your sheep, you know, and your pigs, 300 pigs, your sheep, 250 sheep, those were hard limits. And then, like I say, the maximum animal mod came out, which allowed you to have basically as many animals in a pen as the mod author would support on custom animal pens, custom maps. And again, those were just mods that I again, for me, were part of every single game that I played. Other simple little mods, again, maybe not as stand out and as you know, as noticeable as, say, a machine or a tool. Top left corner of your screen. It's very hard. I know it's very hard to see on my HUD because I play with my GUI scale turned right down. I have the real time mod. So above the in-game time, I have the actual real world time, my local time. Very useful for keeping track of how long you've been playing the game whilst you're playing the game. And also what I liked about this mod was the fact that it changed the colour of the icons there in the top. At the moment, they're all white for the weather, time of day, and your cache. I liked how at night it would change those to a different colour that you could customise. So I used to have it so that as soon as it went at night, as soon as it, you know, you got to the in-game hour that, you know, the game recognises as being night, I had that turn green. So very useful for keeping track. As soon as, you know, before the sleep anytime mod came out, it was very nice to have that, because that gave you the clue when you could actually, you know, go and sleep in game. And pass forward and advance time, because again, especially, and again with seasons, playing with the seasons mod, if you have various different times of the year, the in-game night time occurs at actually different hours. Being able to track that throughout the year was again much easier when you had that visual reference that, oh, it's turned to a different colour. The screen's turned to a different colour. That means it must be officially night time. So again, back over here at the animal pen extension, now you see we fast forwarded, look. The plumber's here building his bits. He's going to put a tap in over here, I'm guessing, to fill the water up. It's all good stuff. And he'll be doing the same over at the chickens. So again, animal pen extension, one of those mods that, you know, I always had installed. And most of the maps that I played had custom animal pens by the map author that supported the animal pen extension system. So I never had any issues with it. Another mod that I like, and it's probably, we'll try it with it. Yeah, this will work. This is a good example. Another simple little mod. Again, nothing fancy or amazing, just quality of life. You've got a tractor and you've got a seeder attached to it. And you've been seeding in your field and you want to repair both pieces of equipment. In the vanilla, in the base normal game, without any mods, you would have to bring your tractor in here into the trigger area for the repair box. You would have to repair your tractor. You would then have to bring your seeder, planter, or whatever tool or implement into the repair box, disconnect your tractor, drive that out the way, then hit the trigger to be able to bring up the repair menu for the seeder. The workshop tabber mod simply just lets you cursor between equipment that's in proximity of the repair trigger. So again, you didn't even need certain, depending on where you would park certain bits of equipment and where your repair trigger was, you didn't even need it connected to a machine. You just had to be in range and you just click through and you can repair all the equipment in one go without having to disconnect equipment, reconnect equipment, shuffle equipment round, park it, move it. You know, simple little mod like that. Can't believe it's not in the base game. You know, can't believe it's not one of them mods that was in the game. Like, why didn't Giants give us that feature and functionality? Again, moving on, I'm doing this at a fairly rapid pace here because I don't want this video to be an hour long. Obviously, other mods that I really appreciated and really love to use. The global positioning system. You know, 15 grand extra cost for every vehicle, but you get your GPS system. You get your GPS. Lines on. There we go. I can rotate 90 degrees. My track. There we are. Guidance steering is enabled. GPS. Again, GPS is such a integrated part of real farming. And has been for many, many years now. There's literally nothing, not a single piece of field work that is done these days without some kind of GPS implementation, GPS system. You know, most tractors, harvesters, sprayers, whatever, seeders, planters, all require a GPS system. And yet Giants doesn't put it in the game. Such a simple little mod. You know, and again, thanks to Wapster for bringing us guidance steering for Farm Sim 19. I really hope this is going to be one of the first mods that gets converted, and hopefully, with it being a script mod, shouldn't be too difficult for him to convert and release for Farm Sim 22, because it's definitely one of those mods that once you've used it and you've been used to using it, when you're seeding, when you're fertilising, when you're lime spreading, etc., so as to avoid wastage, to avoid, you know, going over, retreading over ground that you've been on or missing bits of ground. The GPS mod is so useful. So useful. On a similar note, another mod that I really do enjoy using, and again, can't believe after all these years of Farming Simulator we don't have some kind of feature similar to it in the base game. There's an option to have it in the base game, but it's the Follow Me mod. So if we were to do, oh, press the wrong button. Detaching the header. There we are. I hop out of my machine. Mr. Combine Harvester will follow me. Wherever I drive, Combine Harvester will accompany. Very useful for moving multiple units and multiple machines and multiple bits of equipment, you know, to your farm. And again, you can do things like shorten the distance. Now, one of the things I like doing with Follow Me, and we'll use the Lamborghini tractor. I'll bring it back to the farm quick. My Lambo. And this is very useful. One of the great features of one of the great features of Follow Me that I personally like is being able to use it when you're actually doing field work to allow you to do jobs yourself that if you were to use Giants workers to do in game, you can't do, because Giants helpers in FS19 won't drive a tractor and trailer. Ooh. Slippity doo-dah. This Lamborghini mod's not the best mod in the world. That's not on my list of must-have, must-install mods. Definitely not, because it's too slippy sliding. Doesn't really have a lot of grip. Struggles a bit. The only reason I got it because I wanted to do a Clarkson's Farms playthrough type thing, but I just never had the time. I was going to use a map based in Doncaster, UK, of the UK, where Jeremy Clarkson originates from, his hometown, but I just ran out of time. I never got round to doing the series. Plus the map was a little bit lacking in quality, shall we say. But anyway, one of the things I like, and this is great if you are into harvesting, or if you like forage harvesting, for example, and you want to be able to drive your harvester, and one of the things we like to do is go, right, we want him to be 11 metres to the left of the harvester. So when you're in the harvester and you pipe out, you've got your pipe out, he will happily drive beside the harvester the whole time, allowing you to unload on the go, which again, if you're forage harvesting, sugarcane harvesting, the Follow Me makes that absolutely possible for you to do that whilst driving the harvester yourself. That was my big reason for using the Follow Me mod. because it allowed me to do things that the in-game workers just wouldn't let you do, you know. Found it very, very useful, and like I say, for convoying vehicles across the map to different fields, very, very useful functionality there of the Follow Me mod. The next mod that I always had installed, and again, I'm probably better off staying in the vehicle, is obviously a slight extension of basically Follow Me and guidance steering, would be Courseplay, you know. What a fantastic mod for people who want to automate tasks on their farm and have better workers that are able to perform tasks to, you know, a higher level than standard in-game helpers. You know, mods like that are fantastic. So, you know, you've got your seeding, your fertilising, you can do bunker compacting, silage compacting, levelling and compacting. You can do actually like bunker unloading. So if you've got big, you know, you've made loads of silage in your bunkers, you can actually have Courseplay automatically with a front loader empty that silage bunker for you and put the silage into whatever you want, whether it be trailers, BGA, or whatever you're using to store that silage in. You can have Courseplay do that automatically for you once you've recorded the course. You can have it sell your crops, you know, take and sell crops to sell points, or take crops from fields, store in your silo and come back to the field so you can keep harvesting uninterrupted. Courseplay, another absolutely fantastic mod that I've always had installed. Other mods that I have been using, again, and like I say, for people who are expecting loads of equipment mods to be on this list, probably not going to see a lot of equipment mods, but things like better contracts, for example, that allows you to, oh, I don't like any of the contracts that were on the map, so let's refresh them and get a new list of contracts and go through the list and see what is available. Coinciding with that mod, one mod that I always used as well was the Collect Straw at Missions mod. So when you were doing harvest contracts on the map for wheat, barley or oats, it was nice to have the mod that allowed you to actually pick up the straw as well and sell that. That made doing wheat, barley and oat contracts a lot more profitable, because not only were you getting paid for doing the harvesting, not only were you getting paid for the little bit of, you know, excess crop that the farmer didn't want, but you were getting paid for all the straw as well that you were producing. You know, if you were prepared to take the time to actually go and pick it up and either loading wagon it or bale it or whatever, you know, those were again, fantastic mod. Another mod I really liked, which we probably aren't going to need in FS22, but it's the info menu mod, which again added the name of items on your prices screen. Because again, if you don't play with the global company mod and you don't have the fancy icons, some of the little hieroglyphics that Giants put in the game, especially for things like wood chips, silage, grass, hay and straw, were very difficult to tell apart for some people. Some people just couldn't tell. And then when you had production maps and other maps that added extra fill types, some people really, really struggled. So having the name put under the item in your local language, whatever language your computer is set to, was very, very handy. And then, of course, we got Global Company, which added, you know, a few extra things. Other mods that I liked. Additional game settings, being able to turn off your HUD, you know, your crosshair, you know, turn off the HUD. Great for taking screenshots. I know you could do it with a button press, but I like the fact you can do it with a mod. There's a whole bunch of other things as well. You can change camera smoothness, Easier starting engine. I have that. I don't have the automatic engine start option here, where if you tap into a vehicle, it starts up straight away. But I do use this where if I tap into a vehicle and then I press the accelerator button, the tractor starts and off it goes. So I've still got manual control of starting and stopping and turning off or turning on the machine. But if I'm just jumping in a machine and wanting to drive, I don't have to press the button to turn the engine on. I can just hit the accelerator. I also like being able to turn on or off shop items. So you have it set to mods and DLC. If you go into the store, it disables everything apart from mods. Makes it very easy to find mods that you have freshly installed mods. So if you want to buy and test something that you've just downloaded for the first time and you can't figure out which menu it's in, just toggle that. Just toggling that option makes it a lot easier to find. Custom lighting, being able to choose what lighting you want to use based on what maps you've got installed in your mod folder. You've got Ravenport, obviously the Giants lighting, Alpine. You've got a mod map. I've got Ringwoods by Stevie because this is my Ringwoods mod folder. You can have the Felsbrunn default. Again, you can change your in-game brightness, raise it higher and lower it. Again, one of the things I like is being able to turn off the depth of field. You can't really tell today because it is horribly rainy, but let's fix that with another very handy mod. Turn off the rain. If you look into the distance, you'll notice that the mountains are quite well defined, they're not blurry. They don't look like they're covered in Vaseline and they're all smeared. That's the depth of field. I hated the depth of field in the game. I hate games with depth of field. You know, I always turn off depth of field. I like being able to see into the distance because, you know, that's how the human eyes work. We focus, we adjust when we're looking into the distance. We don't suddenly get to a point where everything goes blurry. I mean, that's not normal. If you're looking, you know, into the distance and things go blurry, then you need to go to Specsavers and get your eyes tested and get some corrective lenses, because you're supposed to be able to see, because the human eye focuses and adjusts depending on what it's looking at. So if I'm looking off into the distance, I expect to be able to see off into the distance. So I quite liked the mod for that. You can also turn off the birds. And then there's a couple of other things like the animals. You can actually turn on collisions on animals to make the animals in the animal pens solid objects. Because you may have noticed when you're playing the game, if you've been running through your animal areas, like your cows, your pigs, your sheep, you can your character runs through them, passes through them. Vehicles will pass through them. You know, it's as if they're ghosts. They have no physical, actual body. Well, turning that on makes them solid, so you can't drive through your animals. You probably noticed another mod I like to use, and it's really a great help for content creators like myself, is the Easy Development Commands mod. Again, there's so much you can do with this mod. So much you can do. Playing around, changing field states, being able to turn on super strength if you happen to have a bit of an accident, you get a machine stuck and you need to recover it without resetting it. You know, great little mods like that are fantastic. Another mod, again, it's been out a while, that I like is, and it's probably difficult to show you because I don't happen to have a chainsaw on this save, but one of the mods I do quite like is, again, was the lumberjack mod. I don't know, people say, why do you have a lumberjack mod, Watty? You don't do a lot of tree cutting in your game. Quite true. But what I like about the lumberjack mod is it lets you turn on and off player strength for picking up and moving objects. By double tapping the out key on your keyboard, you can pick up objects. So that was one of the reasons why I like the lumberjack mod. Very useful for moving stuff by hand and working on the farm, moving pallets, shifting stuff, you know, just moving stuff around. Another thing I liked about the lumberjack mod, and in fact actually we might as well go and buy ourselves a chainsaw and I can show you. So if I just grab a chainsaw, we'll grab this one. You've got your you've cut your tree down. Oh, I've got a stump. I need to go and get a stump grinder to get rid of the tree. No, you can remove the stump with the chainsaw. How useful is that? You don't need to prat around with extra machines. I also find with the lumberjack mod, delimbing trees is a heck of a lot easier. Gets all the little spriggly bits off it straight away. Also, you've got longer range. Look, I can stand over here and I can saw that log. I can also pick that log up with the lumberjack mod. Very useful for when you're logging, because again, you know, the physics system in the game, not the best, not the most accurate, can be quite frustrating to deal with when doing, you know, picking things up, moving things around. So again, mods like that are just very, very sort of quality of life, I call them. I call them quality of life mods. They're mods that you won't necessarily see, you know. They don't take up a lot of space on your screen, not like, say, a piece of equipment or a piece of machinery or a map. But I think they're almost as important to the game, hence why they are installed on every single map I play, for that very reason. Because they are such qualities of life, you know. I'm just wondering if I've missed any other mods that I have that I always use. Oh, yes. Of course. We've just seen there, pallets. Moving pallets of stuff about the map. You know, you've got these lovely egg pallets and you need to sell them. How are you going to move them? You could get a trailer, of course, and come over here with your front loader and try stacking them, you know, try putting the pallet, you get, and the pallet won't come off the forks, and you're jiggling it about, and the pallet's stuck on the forks, it finally comes off, but oh no, it's knocked one of your other pallets off the trailer. You go round to pick that up, you start to pick the pallet up, to try and put it back on the trailer, but then all of a sudden your tractor starts shaking and jerking, and all of a sudden your tractor tips over and the pallet goes flying up into the air halfway across the map. Giants physics, wonderful thing. So again, back to Alfalfa, he come up with obviously the easy auto load system, the easy auto load mod. He put out obviously the flat deck mod that goes with the easy auto load system. Other mod makers have taken the easy auto load system and incorporated that into their own mods. So we've received on PC mod packs of trailers of all different types, shapes, sizes that have auto load features that other people have expanded to work with other mod maps, other game, you know, production maps, loading all the different production pallet types and all the different things. There's even been people that have adjusted it to work with logs. So when you're doing your logging, you can auto load the logs onto a trailer to save you having to faff about picking up the logs. The easy auto load mod, again, such a quality of life thing. You know, again, I hope there's going to be something like that for FS22 if Giants haven't already put something like that in the game, especially as we've got productions built into Farming Simulator 22 out of the box. I hope there's an easy way of transporting pallets. I hope there's auto load trailers in the base game. I don't expect there will be. I'm sure modders will have to sort that out for us. But again, talking of productions, where would we be without Global Company. I'm sure this mod inspired Giants to do productions in FS22. We love the Global Company system. When that came out, I mean, before the Global Company system came out, we did have mods on PC. We did have factory mods on PC that used the fill type mover script. I think they were made by Farmer Shuby, was the mod author's name. And we used those for ages, and then Global Company came out and just made the whole system better, because there were so many other things that you could do with Global Company, like field leasing, renting fields, and then you had all the extras built in, like the extended placeable or place anywhere functionality, the horse helper mod, being able to plant more trees on a map for people that really love logging and really like doing, you know, the forestry stuff. Again, Giants maps have this built-in limit of only being able to have so many trees on them. So Global Company obviously included a mod that allows you to remove that limit. Very handy mod. And like I say, even if I'm not playing on a map where I'm using production factories or production mods, I have it installed. I use it because A, I like the old field leasing renting system, especially when you start in new farmer or start from scratch or farm, and you don't want to spend all your money on buying fields, because fields can be quite expensive to buy initially. Being able to rent them for a fee per day in the early game is much better. I also, obviously, as you've already seen, use the Global Company icon pack, and I've been using that. So again, separate the icons and make it far easier to tell what crops are at a glance, or what items are, or what something will fill, what something will take, what something will receive at a glance. Especially in like the shop menu, like you're going to buy a trailer. Oh look, I can tell straight away what that trailer will take. I can quickly glance through. Oh, see, that trailer doesn't take quite as much stuff as other trailers. You know, it only takes, you know, wood chips, chaff, straw, sugarcane, hay, grass, silage. Couldn't use that trailer then for transporting crops, for example. A lot easier to see and relate icons back. So those are my mods. I know people are probably going to look at that and go, well, where's all the tractors? Where's all the equipment, the seeders, the planter mods, the sprayers and stuff like that? Honestly, for me, personally, none of that stuff really mattered, because every playthrough was different, and every map I did, I tended to use different equipment. So there was never really any equipment mods that I had to have every time I played the game, or on every map that I played. I just didn't have that. But certain quality of life mods that definitely fixed issues in the game, or plugged gaps in the game that, you know, things that were missing from the game, like the GPS, like Follow Me. Those types of mods were far more beneficial to me, and that's why those mods are in my must-have, always be installed folder. And I really hope these types of mods are, you know, if they're not already in Farm Sim 22, I hope they're going to come to Farm Simulator 22 very quickly, because like I say, they just make the game a lot easier to play, and a lot more fun, and a lot more enjoyable, and a lot less stress-free, some of them. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed this lovely look and video of my list of mods that I've always used on every single map that I've played. And I would love to hear in the comment section down below, what are your must-have mods, or what were your, you know, always had installed mods for Farming Simulator 19, and what mods would you be hoping are quickly ported over to Farming Simulator 22 from that list. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching the video, everybody. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye for now.